And welcome back to the second hour, page 1 of the North Savard Show. This is North Savard coming to you live from Out of Time Radio in gorgeous Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. And with me this evening, as I promised, my special guest, and I will mention Cmdr.Lyur is also with us this evening, but our very special guest this evening is Magdala Ramirez.
Ramirez.
Okay, that's close enough. You just tell them who you are. Welcome to our show. And I'm going to do a little promotion on your book, or your books, before we get started. And then we're going to ask you some questions and let you talk all night if you want to, okay? I want you to feel at ease. Have you been on a radio show like this before?
No, I haven't.
Well, this will be a fun experience. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. People are going to love you, I can tell you right there. She has written 3 books, and I just started one this evening, actually. Saw it first time this afternoon. And I do want to know, you can go on Amazon.com to get 2 of these anyway. Or you can come right here to the Center of Light downstairs and purchase one. Very inexpensive. And the first one was The Sacredness of the Union of Polarities. I just love that title. And I understand that you do a lot of classes and teaching on, well, on the females, feminities, okay? So, are you doing any classes now on the subject?
Yes, we have many seminars about the feminine ways and the sacredness of the union of polarities. Well, I want to say hello to everybody. Hello, my beautiful ones. Hello into the hearts of the very, very bonding into the hearts of the people. I am indeed Magdala, and I have come here to show the ways and the teachings of the grandmothers. It is indeed a knowledge that has been into this planet for a long, long time. Many, many tribes have the same knowledge. The Hindu people, the Japanese people, the Druids, of course, and all the Native Americans, of course, and all from South America. Yet, yes, it is indeed a very beautiful understanding and the knowledge of the union of polarities.
And we say hello back to you. This lovely lady, let me just tell you a little bit about her, because, I hate for my guests I have to, blow their own horn. So I'm going to blow her horn right now, okay? She not only wrote The Sacredness of the Union of Polarities, she wrote I Am You, which is soon to be out, and another one that is already out, the Mayan Runes. And I'm going to tell you something. I can't wait to get involved in that, too, because we all are familiar with the Norse runes. Well, these are the Mayan runes. They have the little runes with the book and everything else, and teaches you exactly how to go through it, okay? But her path and her work started early in her life. She was born a shamaness. Everybody has heard the word shaman. Well, she's a shamaness, okay? Female shaman. And was initiated and trained by the Spirit to bring the message of the sacredness of femininity and the union of polarities. She grew up among the pyramids and the ancient wisdom in southern Mexico around both the Mayan and Aztec people. Just how fortunate can you be? She spent many years there studying and sharing information with the elders of knowledge in the area. She has worked for 35 years with the ancient knowledge of the feminine ways, warrior women, and sacred dance. And I tell you, I read this. She has worked for 35 years. She doesn't even look 35 years old. I want to know your secret, lady. Okay? She has held workshops and lectures in Mexico and the United States. Her knowledge and love for the people, and I can attest to this. I've known the woman, a couple of hours, and she just emits love. Such a beautiful thing to do. Because as I was talking in the last hour, that, the whole key, that's going to come out of the turmoil and chaos is going to happen with the Mother Earth going through her changes, what's going to come out is awareness. It's going to come out a higher consciousness, and the key thing is love. We're going to love our neighbors more. We're going to love our family and our friends more. We're going to love each other more. And that I am looking forward to. Anyway, her knowledge and love for the people is a blessing for all relations. And she has been interviewed for many magazines. However, I want to emphasize, like I said, I've just started on this book and just read a few pages of it on the sacredness of the union of polarities. And I know from what I've already gotten, it's just going to be a wonderful reading. You know, I'm a big reader anyway. Well, shucks, folks. Having, owned a bookstore for the last 20 years, I do a lot of reading. I don't like television. I like reading. But let's get back to this wonderful lady and her teachings. And let's see if we can come up with some questions to get her going, okay? How did you come to start speaking about this knowledge?
I grew up with this knowledge. This is how the abuelas, the grandmothers, have taught me about the feminine ways. For 500 years, my people has been hiding this knowledge. For 500, we keep it a secret, and they say, until the time comes that we need to speak it up. So all our traditions and all our ways as a woman that has been hidden for 500 years now is coming out, and this is the time to speak. For many time, the world has been waiting for the women to emerge, because it is indeed the heart of the women, the ones who go into the love ways, as you have been saying. It is because of the love and the way we understand it, the way we embrace love. It is indeed for the many relations. We express it in the outside in so many, many ways. Yet in the very, very core where the love resides, that's where the oneness is. And that's the part to be embraced, Ron.
Those are very, very wise words, and I couldn't agree more, because it's just beautifully put. And I just love the way that you emit this love from the energies of your body and from your mind. And, hey, I'm going to be a follower of these teachings. How about you, Cmdr.Lyur?
I am.
You better be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think you're just extremely fortunate, because you grew up with this. Most of us had to wait until our adult years to become aware, to make that choice to become aware, because anything weird that would happen with us as we were young, we were told, no, that didn't happen, or it couldn't happen, or we were discouraged away from it. Because not that our parents and our peers were cruel, or this was the way they were brought up, so they did the same thing. They weren't trying to hurt us or keep us away from anything. They just didn't know themselves. Not being aware, how can you teach somebody else to be aware? So, anyway, I got a lot of questions, but I think what I'm going to do, I do want to ask this one. Are you a prophetess or a teacher? Or do you prophesy?
I am just the same as you. As any true human being is able to do it, because we own the time. Of course we know the past, the present, the future. In every single living thing, you find the teacher. I am the teacher, but I can be only the teacher to myself, the same way that you have found the teacher inside of you, Ron. That's your true teacher, and yet together we dance.
Yes, indeed. However, I will point out something. On the radio show, N-O-R. N-O-R, N-O-R. Not Ron. Everybody knows that Noor spelled backwards is Ron, but my radio name and the name that I do on my writings is Noor Savad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, no problem. And I agree with you 100%. It was kind of like earlier this evening, I was talking about, I got an email from a lady that was asking how does she make her friends aware. I had to tell her, you can't. You can talk to them, you can get them to listen, but the choice to be aware is within each one of us. We make that choice. And we also can make the choice not to be aware, to ignore everything that's in front of us. And a lot of people do this. However, the time has come that a lot of people are not going to be able to turn away. And if they do, it'll just be too late for them. And I'm hoping that they make that choice to become aware. And that's the whole purpose of Out of Time Radio, is to put the word out there and hopefully get people to thinking so that they will and can make the choice to become aware. Carol wrote this question down, and I have no earthly idea what it even is. How to read petroglyphs? What is a petroglyph?
As you were saying, you see, for a long time, the society has been working very much into the patriarchal system. Everything that you learn in the school is about deduction mind. Everything is related into that deduction mind. Well, the feminine ways is very much the induction mind. The ancestors, they were not, we see them as a genius, but they were not really genius. They were just using both of the brain together. So, to understand the maps and the language of the spirit, even the writing things that the ancestors put there in the stones, is very much using both of the brain, using the induction mind and the deduction mind. That's what it is, the union of polarities. This is the very, very first door that we all human beings need to cross.
Well, actually, it makes sense because current day psychology, it is an illness to be bipolar, which means that the brain's two sides don't work together at all. So, and it's actually a catchphrase, but that's okay too. The thing that you were talking about earlier, I would like to just go back a minute and just talk on. The knowledge has always been there. I'm 25% Ojibwa, as most people on my show know. And in English, it's pronounced Ojibwe. But my grandmother hated the word Ojibwe. She was full Ojibwa, even though she was registered with the Choctaw Nation, because her mother had been captured by the Choctaw, and her husband had been killed. They killed all the guys and kept the women. But she still liked to refer to herself as Ojibwa. And anyway, the knowledge that they had, I can remember sitting for hours at my grandmother's feet and just listening. Actually, I have two brothers, and they never had the time to do this, and they're very intelligent people. One of them is seeming to coming to awareness. The other one just doesn't seem any hope. He has chosen not to be. But anyway, I got to start in an early age. And consequently, it led to, after becoming an adult, and after my military years, I understudied for 2 years a gentleman by the name of Reverend David Bubar. And back in the 60s, the book You Are Psychic was written about his life. So the knowledge between my grandmother, which was the greatest amount of knowledge, because she was my mentor growing up too, and Reverend David, I'd made the choice to become aware, a lot sooner than I would without those two influences. So you growing up, I can't imagine in a way too, to me it would be in heaven, is actually growing up with the wisdom all around you and being taught on a daily basis. Instead of saying, oh no. Oh, for instance, like a child with imaginary friends, okay? They're really seeing a fourth dimension spirit being that's earthbound, okay? And we say, oh, no, you don't see that. Just don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Get out of your mind. And we try to erase these things instead of propagate them and actually promote them so that they can keep this vision their whole lives instead of killing it at a very young age. So anyway, what is ascension for the Mayas?
My people knew until the 17th dimension. For us, ascension, which is also a good word, it is going into the 5th dimension. The same way that the whole world right now is passing through that one. You see, I want to say something about my people here. You see, many people have very bad connotations about the Aztecs and the Mayan. They say that they were killing people and sacrificing people so the sun is not going to come out next day. Well, my people knew into the 17th dimension. They knew the measures from here to the sun and the whole planet and the measure. Great was the knowledge. Do you really think that they will kill somebody so the sun will come out?
No. And I still... Sorry, Sherry Schreiner, I can't help this. Got to say it again. I do not think the ascension or the rapture talked about biblically is going to be the great barbecue in the sky. I do not think the aliens are coming here to eat us. They could have done that already. They don't have to wait until something happens. They have higher technology. I mean, we've tried to shoot down their ships, and we can't do it, and a few of them have crashed from their own technical failures. However, no, they're not here to eat us. I had mentioned earlier this evening that because of the tremendous activity of UFOs in our skies today and around the planet in general, there are a lot of different species of ETs out there. Some of them may not be good. They may be on the bad side. However, I cannot believe the mass majority of them are not good, high-consciousness people who have gone to other dimensions, who are there, and they're going to help us through our time to get through to the next dimension.
Well, what it happens, you see, for our people, they knew that the conquistadors were coming 10 years before that happened. So, it was a big commotion into all these people, and they bury all the petroglyphs with all the maps from the stars and about the stars in the ancient codex, and as they say, save it into the mother's womb. And they say, well, okay, for the people who's ready to jump into the next dimension, okay, this is your time. The people who's going to stay, men allowed to get killed, women allowed to be raped, but carry the knowledge that we have about the dimensions in your womb, the same way that we are bury all these petroglyphs so people will know when the time has come how to jump. The Mayans did not disappear. Yet this knowledge has been here for many, many, many tribes here in the States too. It was the same knowledge. They did this many, many times. Now it is a time to do it again. And what that's supposed to mean, this time we need to renunciate your own ego. There is no separation. There is no attachment. There is the perfect bonding of every single living thing. All life is sacred, and you need to live by that truth. You need to embrace that true human in you. And for all the true humans, the ones who embrace the sacredness of life this is our time. This is the time of the renunciation, or as we say, the entrega. There is not really a word in English who can really explain what it is an entrega. But yet, this is the time again. And we are doing it all together.
And scientifically, technologically, we say this is the end time. Yes, it is the time. The Mayan calendar runs out in 2012. However, all the way across the ocean, so does the Egyptian calendar. So you're right. The knowledge is everywhere. It's in the Native American tribes. It's in every tribe on Earth. Which, by the way, is one of my predictions, that we are going back to tribal living. You know? Because that's how we survive through the turmoil and the earth changes. This is a 26,400-year cycle. You can read about it anywhere. Geologists will tell you and tell everybody. And it's Mother Earth's turn to do cleansing. And yes, I think we have to get right with Mother Earth, and it's time for it. I agree with you 100%. So, Scotty, how much time we got? 1 minute. So, before we go to break, would you like to say anything else? I got more questions for you after the break.
We just need to dance with the Mother now. It's just a dance of love.
I keep telling everybody, it's time to dance. We'll be right back. You have been listening to the North Savad Show with my very special guest. I'm taking my time. Magdala.
There you
Is that close? Magdala. Okay. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages. Won't you stay tuned, listen to the messages, because these are the people who buy our lunch. So listen to them and shucks, trade with them. Make some deals with them. Let's do something. But anyway, listen to our words, and we'll be right back after the messages and continue this lovely conversation. Yes, this is North Savad on Out of Time Radio. I'll be right back. And welcome back to page 2 of the second hour. This is North Savad. You are listening to the North Savad Show live on Out of Time Radio here in gorgeous Hot Springs National Park, Arkansas. And it was a beautiful day today. And we'll start this off with my special guest. I would like you to explain male and what is female.
Okay. Female is about the virtual reality. Is where everything is taking place. If you see this cup, first you needed to imagine. First you needed to create it inside of yourself, and then you're able to manifest it. The feminine, the female energy, is the virtual reality, is where everything is taking place in order for you to create your reality. That's your male side. That's your expression in the outside. For long time, it has been always pointed out of what you are doing in your life instead of what you're really creating deep inside of you. There you go. That's where all the answers and the questions meet. What it is in your heart. What is the heart really? Because people is saying, okay, I need to follow my heart, but I forgot what my heart is. What do I am really creating? The feminine energy is very much this virtual reality, that it is such a powerful thing, that it will create exactly the way you want it. And you're responsible for that one. Your expression in the outside is just a reflection of your virtual reality. That's your feminine. So, that's why this book about the sacredness of the union of polarities is not really talking in that sense in the outside, but the relationship that you have with yourself, your inner and your outer too. Make the inside the same of the outside, and the outside the same of the inside. That's where the point of the union of polarities resides. And that's the first door for the fifth dimension.
Well, these certainly are words of wisdom. Thank you very much. Take a moment now and let everybody know exactly where all they can get your book, because I think it's going to be a very important book for each of our progression.
Well, you can get the book in Amazon.com. You just type there, Sacredness of the Union of Polarities, or the other book, that the name is I Am You. And the book of I Am You, I really, really love it, because it's very much into the purity in the ways of the Mother has been showing to us. It comes out like in stanzas, almost like a poem. And believe me, my English is not very good, but she speaks in a
Your English
special.
is perfect. Better than mine.
Well, these two books, you can find it in Amazon.com or here in Hot Springs at the Center of Light, or you can email me at mariomagdala@yahoo.com.
Repeat that so they make sure and write down. Get your pens and pads out, folks.
Can you spell it for me?
Yeah, well, go ahead and say it again.
mariomagdala@yahoo.com. It's MariomAgdala at yahoo.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay, for everybody out there. Again, that's... wait a second, I missed it someplace. Spell the first part of it. M-A-R...
M-A-R-I-O.
M-A-R-I-O. Okay, M-A-G-D-A-L-A at yahoo.com.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got that? All right.
Now, the Mayan runes, as you mentioned it, you see, the Vikings have it, and it is very much the same knowledge. There you go. And the Mayan runes is meant to be for people to understand the cycles of life. When you understand the cycles, then you can embrace life as it is.
Well, I want to ask you another question, let you get into it in as much depth as you want to, because I'm going to sit back and listen. The term mother as Mother Earth. Talk to us about it.
She's my teacher. She's the force of life. When you call upon her, you bring healing into your life. She is the bonding of everything. She is in charge of the oneness. She is indeed the one that heals. She has all the powers. And if you understand how she works, see, for us women, it is very much through the Mother how we understand everything. The Great Mother, it is our ways, because you see, as a tribe we have the Tonancina, Tecuautla Cuepeo, she the ones who come from the realm of light in form of an eagle of fire. She is the mother of all the living things, and she is the true teacher of all life. She is the unconditional love. She cannot be defined. She is the Holy Spirit, though, that the Christians name it. She is the one who make you holy. And that means not just sacred, but complete.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's the best definition I've ever heard in my life. And I want to get a whole bunch of emails on your thoughts, folks, on just exactly what this lady just said. That is a complete definition of Mother Earth.
Definition? Beautiful. You can't define.
Whatever you'd like to know, it would be great. Okay. I wanted to ask you this, because you are from Mexico, and, of course, we, Cmdr.Lyur and myself, do a lot of research on UFOs. What's going on over Mexico City? Because for a long time now, we have had many, many sightings. There's probably 1,000 videotapes of it out there. So, what's your explanation?
Well, we have many brothers, and there are many mansions, and there are many worlds, and we are all related. There is only one nature, and all the worlds are this nature. We are only one. These are brothers and sisters.
See, Sherry Shriner, I told you so. Sorry about that. Good answer. I've always felt that. Yeah, Cmdr.Lyur, what do you got to say?
But, Magdala, I remember when I was watching all these documentaries on TV, live, speaker, TV, people in Mexico, filming the UFOs, live, and everything. And they were talking about the Mayans' prophecies and the coming of the fifth sun and everything. And the response of the Mexican people were incredible. I had the feeling that the Mexican people are much more prepared for first contact with extraterrestrials, much more than this here country.
Oh, this country, so far, we want to fight them. I mean, this is redneck city, this country is. We want to fight them. Mexico, I don't know if you recall, but just a few weeks ago, I reported on the former Secretary of Defense in Canada went to Parliament to urge them to establish some type of communique and contact with ETs before the United States starts a war with them, an intergalactic war. So, yes. Yeah, I would say that they've got to be open to UFOs, that's for sure, and that we're not the only ones here. Yeah. No doubt about that.
Magdala, could you say that the star beings in your country are coming back for you people? Would that be correct to say that at this time?
We are here. Where do you want us to go?
We are star people anyway.
Yeah.
Well, what I want to say about this, you see, the contact that we have with the star people has been since the beginning of time. We are the seeds. So there is this part of our own DNA that it has been contact all the time. We have never been in disconnection ever. You see, if the governments approve or not, it doesn't really matter, because we do know in our hearts, in our DNA, how can in a world we can understand. Many of our symbols are the same symbols that they have been using, and it's the language of the spirit. Even the same knowledge to bring it back of the union of polarities, these come from the star beings too, but yet also from the very, very core of the true human being. That part of a human being that it is able to understand the sacredness of life and embrace life in a complete manner. So how can, you see, in our country, if we can still divide my country and your country, we understand since the beginning of time how has been all these ways. Why? Because we are one, and we are part of that one too. There are the good ones, as you said, and the bad ones, as you said. But what I want to realize into these things and to really, really point it out, that we, as a true human being, we need to make the work inside of ourselves. That is what it is more imperative than anything else. We need to embrace ourselves and put ourselves together to find out what is really in our virtual reality is taking place. what we are manifesting. Through that virtual reality, that's where all the connection, not with the universe, but with the multi-universe. You see, very much the universe is only an atom. That's it. And we are that.
Well, it's just like it's been said many times in the past. If you can take a look at an atom, it looks just like our solar system. So many universes. Many, many, many. You know, Ronald Reagan actually probably said it best when he gave, right after he became president, he gave a speech to the United Nations. And to paraphrase that speech, he said, between our countries, our differences will seem petty when we're confronted with something from beyond. And it's true. Hey, and it's time that we drop our differences. You know, it's just like the United States itself. Russia has already broken up. The United States will break up. Okay? Because most of the major powers are just exactly that. They're powers and power hungry. Consequently, that won't go over in the fifth dimension at all. So it must be dissolved.
No, it's third and fourth dimensional creation, local creation, that cannot go further into evolution of this universe.
Out the window.
Yeah, right.
Good place for it to be. So anyway, yes, I kind of agree that because of all the media on the UFOs in Mexico City, it may have made or caused some people to think and become aware in Mexico City to prepare them for what is to come. However, I think I've got a little bit different slant on that theory. I'm thinking that there's a lot of the people who just absolutely refuse to acknowledge or to become aware. And I do believe that the UFOs are going to be there when the time comes to help some of them, the aware people especially, to escape the natural calamity that's going to happen because Mother Earth has got to do her thing. She does it every 26,400 years. Why stop now?
Yep.
And it'll happen. So there's a couple of things I want to do before you leave this evening. I want to talk to you, if it's all possible, think of the date, because I don't know what the date will be, but it's Saturday 2 weeks from now, almost 2 weeks from now. I'd like to get you in here for a book signing. And I want all you people out there, when we settle on this date, for you to come to the Center of Light here in Hot Springs. I don't care if you do have to fly in from California. Come on. And get your book signed by this lovely lady and talk to her, just as we're talking to her right now on the air. So what do you think about this? You think you can pull it off for Saturday week? If not, you can give me another date.
What day is the next Saturday?
Well, let's see. Today is the 13th, so let's see. We've got 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. So we're talking about 25th? Yeah.
No, I'm going to be in Ohio in a very beautiful ceremony.
Oh.
In a seminar that it is going to take place there. But I can do it next weekend.
Well, we can't do it this weekend because I got to give the Sentinel Record time to put a notice in a paper. Mm-hmm. We want to get a little publicity on it here locally. Mm-hmm. So how about the weekend after that?
Yep.
You'll be back then?
Yes, I will be here.
Okay, folks. Next weekend, I'll give you the exact date, but it'll be figuring 2 weekends from now. Or, let's see, 3 weekends from now.
Yeah, beginning of March.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be great. Because I think that... I think this is going to become, just from touching on what I've read so far and from listening to you, this is an important work. I feel it. And when you feel it, you know it. It's an important work, and let's spread the word. Okay? Mary Ann, you've been very silent. Did I tell everybody that the lovely Mary Ann is in our studios listening in again? And she always comes when Michael O'Grady does his show.
Always. Yeah,
always. But it's nice to have her in here, and she's always enjoyable, and usually she has a comment. Do you have any now?
May I?
Sure. Step up to the mic. Go ahead.
I just want to send love and light to everyone and say how very honored I am to have this precious lady in our midst.
Ooh, that makes a bunch of us. I'm going to tell you something. Yes, indeed. Okay. Cmdr.Lyur has something to say?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's so much important, the work that Magdala and those Mayan ladies are doing, because all of you people out there who are into UFOs and extraterrestrials, not aliens, forget them, extraterrestrials, you have to understand that in order to have them coming here to meet with us, to have a reunion with us, or even to help us, we need to become like them. That's the way it works, people. You have to do some work of your own. You have to do homework. What is the homework? To become like them is to unify your masculine and feminine part. Why? Because the space borders, this is what they are. You will meet a space border, you will ask yourself, my goodness, beautiful being, is it a male or a female? You cannot tell, because that man has 51% male energies and 49% female energy.
That sounds pretty balanced.
You are going to see a space sister that would be the same. She will have 51% female energy and 49 masculine. That's how much balanced they are. So you better believe they would like to see us doing the same. And if we do the same, there's no problemo, would say the governor of California. No problemo, they come right there. The day you make that balance, they come right there.
Are you talking about the future president of the Western United States?
The president of the Federation of Planets.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about you, Arnold. Hey, you'll be back. Yes, indeed. Very well said. I agree. We've been trying, those of us who are, well, we consider ourselves metaphysical, we've been trying for 30 years to balance our male and feminine energies. And, of course, we had a couple of, 1987? What do you call that, Marianne? The...
harmonic convergence?
Yeah, harmonic convergence in 87 that was very feminine in energy. And it helped a whole lot. A lot of people that I know personally, it helped to balance. A lot of males I know personally, it helped to balance.
If I recall, it originated with a prophecy from the Mayan people, or something like that, the date was given by them. So it was pretty much a
I believe it was on the Mayan calendar, the harmonic convergence. Now, we had another one since then, which is called something else. Another convergence, but it wasn't called harmonic.
Oh, it was just to repeat something.
No, it wasn't, because it also didn't have as much feminine energy, and it had more male energy to it.
Oh.
So it was still a thing of balance. And this is all what I consider Mother Earth doing, is giving the balances or the opportunity for each of us to balance, as our beautiful guest has said, to a point of knowledge within, understanding, peace, and love and light. I love that. And we just have about a minute left before we have to close. I'm not going to get into another question or anything, but I'll just say, has anybody got a comment they'd like to add before we close out? We're going to be back, folks.
I want to say just thank you. Thank you for everyone, and I am you.
That's about as well as you can say that. I am you. I have preached and gone to... How much time I got, Scotty? How much time do I have? 40 seconds. Okay. I have preached and preached and preached, that there is a connectivity of every atom in this entire universe. See, my view of God is the entirety of the universe. That's why a lot of times I pray, Lord of the universe, because we are talking about God is all things. And every atom has a connection. And as we conglomerate atoms within our bodies and stuff, I got 10 seconds, so here it goes. We connect with every other thing in this entire universe. And on that note, we will close. This is North of Odd. You have been listening to the North of Odd show on Out of Time Radio. And we'll be right back after the top of the hour break, starting in our third hour. And my very beautiful and special guests will be here to, if you'd like to, I'm going to give you right afterwards the telephone number, because I didn't realize I hadn't given it all evening. We'll be right back. Yes, and welcome back to the North of Odd show. And this is North of Odd coming to you live on Out of Time Radio and go to Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I told you, everybody, to make sure and get your pens and pencils and your Big Chief notepads out. I want you to write down some information, okay? And keep it out, because my special guest is going to give you some information also. Okay. Now, if during this hour you would like to give us a call, ask a question to the guest or myself, you may do so. And you can do it toll-free. 1-877-624-4331. Again, 1-877 toll-free, 624-4331. If you're local, just call the 624-4331. We're in area code 501, okay? Now, what I really, because I get most of the calls, and because we realize that 94% of you on dial-up and you can't get off the computer to make a phone call, so that's okay. Let me give email address. If you are emailing while the show is going on, use info@ouoftimeradio.org, O-R-G, okay? Out of Time Radio is all one word. However, write these numbers down, okay? Because that's where I am during the week. Every day, 7 days a week, you will find me, except on Sunday mornings, I'm in church. I go to a very metaphysical church. You know that. I've had the minister as a guest on here, so you know that too. So anyway, the numbers to get me on a daily basis is this. Toll-free, 1-866-724-1001. You can call toll-free anytime on that line, okay? If you should catch us out or something like that, you can leave a message. I will get back to you, and I'll call you back on my dime, okay? Now, the other number, if you're local, is area code 501-624-1001. Now, most importantly, because this is where, I get 60 to 80 emails every week on this email, and this is one that you should use because, man, I get it quicker than anything else, okay? And I can answer you a lot of times in the same day, except when I just get pumped with a bunch of them. And that is of light. OFLIGHT, numerical 1, of light 1 at sbcglobal.net. Once again, of light 1 at sbcglobal.net. And man, we can talk from all around the world, I promise you. Now what I want to do, we're going to take a minute before we get back into the questions and these answers of wisdom. And I know you've enjoyed them as much as I have. I could talk to this lady all night. So anyway, what I want to do, I'm going to let Magdala, am I getting it close? Magdala?
Yes.
Okay. I want her to give you her email. And again, I will let you know next Monday night about a book signing that she's going to do. Would it be for 2 or all 3 of your books?
The 3 of them. All
3 of them, yeah. And it'll be probably around, the first Saturday in March, probably, okay? 3 weekends from now, okay? But we'll have it in the local paper for all you local listeners. It'll be in the Sentinel Record, and we'll have a time factor. I'll discuss that with her and see how long she'll sit there and smile at you and give you words of wisdom and sign your little books. And like I say, they're very inexpensive. What I think is going to be my paper one, it's only $15.95. You can't beat that with a stick. Certainly can't beat it at Books A Million. Okay, but anyway, Magdala, if you would, go ahead and give them your email address again, any other ways of contact, any other places that they can get your book.
Okay, the books can be found in Amazon.com. You just type Sacredness of the Union of Polarities. Or you can just type I Am You. Or you can just type my name. the way you spell it, my name is Magdala, Magdala, and Ramirez, Ramirez. And my email is mariomagdala@yahoo.com. MariomMagdala@yahoo.com.
Very good. Now, sir, we get back to this deep discussion. I want to ask you, what is the fifth sun?
Well, as I was speaking about, you see, the Mayan people did not disappear. The Nez Perce, the Anasazis, and many other tribes, actually around the world, they did not disappear. They just moved into the next dimension, the fifth dimension. The people who's ready means it is people who have the bonding already of the male and female energies together. It is the ones that are able to understand the oneness. Oneness is not just a word. It is a way of living. And we need to live by that truth. We need to understand and embrace this part. The fifth sun is the emerging of both of the forces together. You see, nor in the ancestors' way, in the ceremonies, it was always a priest and the priestess in a ceremony. Otherwise, they say it will be unbalanced. And this was going for all the people. Yet now, the work is very much into the feminine ways because, as I told you, that's the virtual reality. We are in charge as a woman of the virtual reality. So we better make it a good one this time. The ancestors had many, many ceremonies for the women. Women embraced their womanhood. They were happy to be women. They understand the importance of this, and the happiness of the whole community depends very much into the women in our ways of love as we listen to the Great Mother. Otherwise, we will be lost in the society just like this one, like so much pain everywhere. Pain. It will make people who has pain, they are controllable, they are manipulable. And they will create more pain over and over. Now is the time as a woman to embrace our own light. And not just as a woman, but as a human being. And stay connected into the spirit. But in order to do that, we need to embrace our light. And our light is very much how we are loving and feeling love. In the society is very much, so much fear for love because the pain is unbearable. We need to be brave. We need to understand so deeply love. As you said, is the most powerful energy. That is what keeps everything together. That's the oneness in motion. That's the dancing. That's the expression in the outside. And yet, that's the energy of life. That's the Great Mother inside of all of us. That is embracing our own light. And everything is able to love. We are love. Actually,
absolutely.
I do not exist as Magdala. I can only exist through her, the creator of all the living things.
So beautiful. Thank you. Just a couple of comments. It is true that we've gotten away from femininity, the female side, ever since 1300s, when Constantine II got all the scholars together and took, as most Christians know, took the books of the New Testament and changed them, eliminated those that were written by women, such as Mary Magdalene, and basically, this is why Mary Magdalene was, by the way, was changed in our New Testament to a prostitute. She wasn't. She never was. She came from a very wealthy family, historically, believe it or not, and she even financed the travels of Jesus and the disciples. And I do believe, based on Leonardo da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, she is portrayed in there to the right-hand side of Jesus. At least, if it's a guy there, it's the only guy with a camel's hair sweater. And you can tell it's camel's hair because of the humps. So, anyway, you can take a look at the Last Supper picture and draw your own conclusion, but I can tell you that's a woman. And I'll bet you it's Mary Magdalene. Yep. But Constantine II had all the deeds of women eliminated because he wanted a male-dominated world. And you know what was really unusual? He was a pagan until the day he died. Even though during his reign he made Christianity the religion of Rome and of the known world. But he was a pagan himself, believed in the pagan beliefs, etc. The day he died, he was too weak to argue with him, and they baptized him as a Christian. Believe it or not. A trivia, folks, this is fact. Anyway, this is something that we have missed throughout the last 700 years. And this is why women have had to struggle to come into their own. Simply because this is what we did in not just our religion, but in the Muslims also. The denunciation of womanhood is nothing more than chattel, property. And only during these end times do I see major movements for women and femininity. And thank you for helping this movement, because you've done a lot for it.
Well, Maria de Magdala, all her ways came from Egypt. She was trained into the feminine ways. Egypt and Maya were the same energy. We were working in the same ways. For us, Maria de Magdala and Ixchel, Rainbow Woman, it is the knowledge as a woman. It is the part very much of the system that it is very much hurt. But to understand also Maria de Magdala is really to understand life. They have been said that she was, that the Christ removed the 7 demons of her. Well, in the school of the feminine ways, you learn how to make sacred dance. And it was removed were the 7 veils. That was the dance of the 7 veils. And each one of the veils is the liberation of the 7 chakras that the women have when the love that you have for your man is truly and complete. That's the entrega. Because you're making that renunciation of your own ego through the Spirit and by the Spirit. And this is what it is. And this is what it meant to be a woman.
Well, everything that you're saying is in agreement totally with a course that Marianne's son teaches called the Course in Miracles. The ego's got to go.
Yep.
You know, as long as we've got the ego, then we will abide by rules set forth by people who purposely, you mentioned something a while ago. The people in pain are controllable.
Yep. Well, that's why, you see, I don't know if you have said something here, the gray people wanted to put the control and the manipulation into the people. And that can only work in the 3rd and 4th dimensionality. So if they can hold on in the woman and make them a prostitute, they can control the whole system, because that is the virtual reality. So that's how they create all this nonsense of removing the Holy Spirit into the true human being. And this has been there as long time as you have been said, Lord. That these come from the very, very great. Yet in the fifth dimension, they don't have no entrance into the fifth dimension. They don't have power into the fifth dimension. They can only have in the third and the fourth dimensionality.
So it's time for us to move into the fifth.
This is time for us to understand the sacredness of life, and for the women to understand too. See yourself in all the women. Understand what it is the sisterhood means. For whatever it is happening to one woman, even if it is in the other side of the world, is also happening to all of us. So we know and listen the ways of the mother and how to love our children, our husband, all our relations.
And this is a very difficult step for the average woman, because we as men have put them down for so long and created a painful situation for them. And it's up to, it's really up to us to admit what we have done over the centuries, and just sit back and say, you know, you are as important as we ever were. You are greater than we ever were. And I want to learn from you. And actually, that's what I'm saying right now. It needs to be said. It needs to be said by everybody. But what you have taught us just tonight is worth tonnage. And things we learned in school, things we have even learned in the modified Bibles, because this is the way to be. This is to build up our feminine side for understanding and for love, and as you mentioned, become a true human.
Make the inside the same of the outside, and the outside the same of the inside. This is all about.
I am wondering, because you mentioned that you do classes. Have you got any classes in the near future planned?
Yes, we are going to have... actually, we are going to have a speech in the University of Youngstown in Ohio. That will be on Wednesday, 23 maybe. And then on Saturday, 25th, we are going to have a seminar in Ohio. Then we will have the 18th of March in Eureka Springs, and you can send me an email to send you a flyer. Then we will go back into Ohio in April, and it will be a seminar actually in the hospital. That is going to be a very beautiful one, because people is willing to understand different ways of healing, and that talks a lot about what is going on.
Well, can I talk to you to start planning a seminar right here at the Center of Light?
I would love to.
I would love to have you here. And we'll promote it. We have to plan it far enough in advance to get all the promotion out, to get, because everybody needs this. We can't hold everybody, folks. But if too many of you register, we'll have 2 of them. Maybe?
Yes.
Okay. What about Marianne? I got to ask you, would you go to such a seminar?
Of course, I'm going to be in Eureka Springs if at all possible. And then Shauna also would love to have her, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. Oh, Shauna, she does a radio program on Tuesday evenings. Shauna Prince. She owns Atlantis, which is a day spa here. And she's also an entertainer. She's also, she sings at the, Embassy Suites. Is that the only place you're singing now? My church. Yeah, Divine Intervention. She is the music director there. So anyway, we've got to close out for this segment. Well, we don't have time for another question. Can y'all stick around just a few more minutes? Can we get another question in? And then I'll have to get a closing statement from Cmdr.Lyur and the Intergalactic Federation of Planets, right? Yeah. Or the Ashtar Command. Yeah. So anyway, how much time I got, Scotty? 20 seconds. You have been listening to the Noor Savad Show. This is Noor Savad with my beautiful guest. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to bring them back right after the break for some closing statements and things. We love you, folks. Come back. Stay with us. We're not done yet. I'm alive, folks. You hear that? This is Noor Savad coming to you from Out of Time Radio in gorgeous Hot Springs, National Park, Arkansas. And yes, you are listening to the Noor Savad Show. Okay. I'm going to turn this thing over to my guest, and then I'm going to get you Cmdr.Lyur in a minute. But for any final words of wisdom do you have to impart upon us?
You are the teacher. You have always been your teacher. If you are able to see the sky and what it is happening in the sky, it's because you have that inside of you. For everything that you see is inside of you. Everything that you ever seen is inside of you. Just embrace that part, and then you embrace your connection. Stay connected to the Spirit, doesn't matter what you are seeing. Stay connected so deeply. Hold on into the Mother's hand. She will guide you into the light, because that's where you belong. That's where the very essence of everything. I am you, my beautiful ones. I have always been you. And you and me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we will, folks. We will have a seminar, or actually we'll have classes with this lovely lady. You will have the opportunity. And yes, flying from California to get here to see her would be worth it. Okay? But I don't know about you guys in Holland, in Germany. It's a pretty good long flight. But it would be worth it anyway. So come on and visit us, and I'll let you know on a future show exactly when we plan seminars and classes. Yes, you had something else to say.
Yeah, we will go whatever place. If you can make seminars, so call us, and we will be there for the seminars in your area.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you got the email address. Let's start booking this lady up. Let's keep her busy. We need all the positive thoughts that we can gather up during the end times. And here's one of them. You've been listening to one of the loveliest positive thoughts that I've had lately. Yes, indeed. Cmdr.Lyur, we're going to do another show in about 2 weeks from now, because next week the show, folks, is on survival. Remember that? But we'll have Cmdr.Lyur back with us, talking about our favorite pastime subject, UFOs. Yes, because this is Out of Time Radio, and our logo is Alien Mike. So, Cmdr.Lyur, what do you got as closing arguments?
Yeah, I'd like to make just a quick connection with a being called Grandmother Windrider, who was a Maya, and coincidentally, this is a relation of both Magdala and I. We didn't know. Grandmother Windrider was a Mayan Elder, saying the same things as Magdala is saying, that it's time for the woman to step up. And
she said the knowledge has been around forever.
And she was also a contactee with the fleet. Grandmother Windrider had been in contact with spaceships, UFOs, of our fleet, and she was speaking in that all over the USA. And she was telling the people in the fleet they are expecting 35% of this humanity ready to jump into the new dimension, but this 35% have to keep strong and standing their ground in that. Not to be in fear, not to be distracted by anything around there. It is very important that we keep that number. And since grandmother has gone a few years ago, that number has dropped. Because we had so many fake messages and fake information in the New Age publishing industry today. So the fleet and the Confederation of Flight is telling you people, this is the time to use the most discernment you can. You just listen to your inner voice and inner voice only. Call to your multidimensional self, which is the I am you, that's the same thing, and rely upon this, not the big news that you see anywhere. Don't be in fear what you're going to see this year, because this is a test this year to see how much fear these people have on this planet, and also most probably a new interaction from the Greys and reptilians. Be careful about this, people. You really have to tune to the space brothers who are banks of light, exactly like Magdala has explained. They are exactly like that. So if you tune to these people and not to the big messages you see on the internet, the big trumpeting, or the news they are going to tell us, because this is lie and lie and lie after lie you're going to see in the news all over the place. So do not focus on that. This is very important. The fleet is in standby, waiting what you people are going to decide for this year. Are you going to accept again to go in big conflict and destruction, or will you do something else? The fleet is in standby. I tell you plain. This is very important this year.
Well, it's like Magdala said, the ETs have been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they have been in contact with people, individuals. The rest of us just refuse to believe it. That's what it boils down to. So, that's good. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a little note. I'm still receiving a lot of information from light workers, star people, and star seeds or healers, which are being under heavy attacks from the dark forces. So you really have to focus on something really positive, and you have to think to your own protection. I've received the extraterrestrial medallion of protection.
Oh, yeah, give your website so they can go and see that.
I've been wearing that for 2 weeks. I feel so good with it and so much strength. It's restore your DNA so you can bring your multidimensional self, and you are totally protected with that from all these aliens. That's extremely important to have at this time. So you find information on my website, starshiplight.com. And also I've started to receive experiences from people incredible. Because not only that, he helps a lot.
Yeah, give out your website so they can go to it and check it out.
Starshiplight.com.
Okay.
Get information.
Starshiplight.com. Everybody got that? That's good. But you talk about DNA. I got rid of my DNA about 30 years ago. Does that stand for damn negative attitude? It's gone, folks. I'm a positive person. Okay. Yes, indeed. So anyway, it was so great having you guys on. And you especially, I have him all the time on the show. You know, he's a regular. And I want you to be a regular. Every time you come to town, I want you to come and impart some words of wisdom. But we will have you for classes, and we're going to sell you books. I promise you that. Anyway.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Keep in mind, this is always going to be a place where you can say your piece. And give your message out.